Every year we hear about cuts to California's developmental disabilities system, and every year the cuts do bad things to community services, but this year is very different. This year, 2011, the governor's budget calls for a cut of $533.5 million on top of all the other cuts that have come before.
I really urge you to take a look at these videos, hear the stories of these people, and listen to what they have to say.
We are here today to show you firsthand that the life of Californians with developmental disabilities.
We're here today to show you firsthand that the lives of Californians with developmental disabilities are already in jeopardy because of past cuts, and that any further cuts will destroy lives.
I would beg you to remember that the stories you are about to hear are not isolated events that are limited to this group.
So Kim, what happened as a result of the Medi-Cal cut?
In August in 2009, I developed that.
Well, in late August of 2009, I chipped one of my back molars.
Yeah.
Right away, it hurt so bad, it felt like someone ran over my jaw. The pain was manageable, though, at first, and I'm a strong person who demands to live my life.
Yeah.
So I did my best to keep doing that.
I use this device so anyone can understand me like you probably use your voice. I use a wheelchair like most people use their legs. My wheelchair is the most important thing in my life. With it, I am free.
My daughter Anne is now 23, and she's recently started with a day program as an adult. And her disability is such that she needs someone to be with her 24/7.
So how long did this go on?
Weeks. Almost a month.
It went on for weeks and weeks. It took almost a month. I was actually told that I would have to wait until my dental emergency became a medical one.
After the huge budget cuts a few years back, my wheelchair broke and I couldn't get it fixed. I was in terrible, terrible pain. I had to make a horrible choice between staying in bed all the time or being in terrible pain using a broken wheelchair.
So the bottom line is, there's not a lot of flexibility in this system to accommodate additional budget reductions.
If those services were lost, I would either do one of two things: find a way to end my life legally, or not have a productive life, be put away in some nursing home or institution.
She came in on a Monday morning, and her right eye was swollen shut completely from infection and pain.
Yeah.
And she still wanted to take part in the things that we were doing.
Yeah, that's because I love it.
That's because I love it. It took 2 more days after that. Days that were filled with complete agony and suffering, before an emergency room doctor was finally able to declare that Kim's tooth was a big enough threat to her life itself to be declared a medical emergency.
It took over 2 years, the loneliest 730 days of my life, laying prisoner in my bed, even though my friends and family came over as much as they could. I became very depressed and shut down.
If the services that she currently has went away, there would probably be periods of time during the day where she is unsupervised.
Alameda County and the East Bay is ahead of the curve, so we want to share with you directions where the system can go that will make a lot of difference statewide.
Our goal is, like Rocio said, is to give people the qualifications and the capabilities that they need to work in very competitive jobs.
2008, we had our first program at our Vallejo Medical Center. Since the inception of that program, we sponsored 40 interns in a variety of departments. They have been given the opportunity to train and rotate through sterile processing, the emergency department, human resources,
rehab, pathology, radiology, and family medicine, to name a few.
You know, I was kind of scared at first, but then once I met my boss, Sue, and went through a ton of training and had Jaco, who's sort of like the big head honcho, you know, who comes through to check every single room and every single hospital and is in charge of sort of kind of like grading you. They had big problems before I came in and were constantly getting in trouble with Jaco. And finally I came in and I found a whole bunch of part of their problem and fixed it. And then after Jaco came in a second time, there was only one room they found something wrong with. They couldn't find anything else because I had found it. You know, and she's right. You know, the other... Torrance decided, hey, we need you. We need to hire you to try to fix this.
It's a whole change of going into the hospital. It's seeing the interns are just thriving. They're so excited. But from a business perspective, the change in the staff and the way that they treat all of us, and all of us could be a member at any time or be in the hospital, the way they interact with each other is really changing the culture of those departments.
Well, they couldn't hire me at first because, first of all, there was a hiring freeze. And then after they did hire me, they are now basically just keeping me busy as a bee. I make like $20 an hour a day. You know, I work 4 days out of the week. My job is basically not just stocking and cleaning things. My job is to check stock rooms. And the way I look at it is those that, you know, I save patients' lives. I stop doctors from grabbing something that might be expired.
We came up with the idea of creating a small business development center that creates jobs, self-employment jobs, through small businesses that people with developmental disabilities can own, operate, and run.
Being at the CB Center has made all of my dreams come true. The staff have been extremely encouraging and supportive. They realized my talents and believed in me. I wrote and published all of my books because of the help and training I received at the CB Center. I write books and pamphlets. The pamphlets are about how to talk to me or someone like me. I go on speaking engagements to help people learn to communicate with people with disabilities. I also sell used books, CDs, and DVDs on Amazon.com. In 2009, I made $3,000. And in 2010, I made $8,000.
I think she's on a roll.
We know we have to contribute, but this system is disproportionately focused on cuts. It's just beyond anything that could salvage any semblance of the commitment that California has to people with developmental disabilities.
So I want to give you a sense of proportion of what a $533.5 million cut would do. In order to save that money, one thing we could do is close every single work activity program in California and every supported employment arrangement in California. That's all of the employment services that regional centers fund, and that would save $143 million statewide. This cut is $533 million. So we'd need to do more than that. If we wanted to save money in respite, we could stop all respite services. That would save $316 million. If we stopped all transportation services, it would save $228 million. You could see none of these come close to $533 million. In order to achieve $533 million in savings, we would have to close 63% of all community care licensed homes in California, or 68% of all-day programs. We know that community service providers have been struggling to survive, and that over the last 2 years we've had rate reductions on our already very depressed rates. There was a rate reduction of 4.25%. That has been devastating for people to deal with. In order to absorb this $533 million, there would have to be an additional rate cut of every program and every service of 24.78%.
The fear of losing any of these services, I just hope that Sacramento, you can see how important it is and to be cost efficient, to employ people to help you and to live more independently than in an institution.
When you cut from us, you cut your head.
When you cut from us, you actually hurt us.